Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a very exciting thing. We're going to be designing a playline Barbie doll.
No!
Now, I've always been interested in designing playline Barbie. It's something that I think would be a lot of fun considering not every child has the opportunity to get a collector Barbie. So this will be a new entry into my Barbie makeover series where we actually make over a Barbie that would be in the price range of $20 to $25. I think it could happen, and I think that they could look so fabulous and great. So today's doll that we are getting our inspiration from is the 1980 Black Barbie. This was the first time Barbie was ever introduced in an African American skin tone, not her first African American family member or friend. That started with Francie and Christy, but this is when Barbie herself was African American for the first time ever.
Oh, that's nice.
She's a very beautiful doll and one that's kind of hard to come by nowadays, and I personally would love to have her for my collection, but I just cannot afford her at this price range that she's at right now, but maybe sometime later in the future. So when I had started going through the Barbie aisle looking for a new Barbie that I wanted to tickle my pickle and I couldn't really find one, I saw their tribute to the 1980 Black Barbie doll. Now on first glance, she's not the worst and I actually really do like her, but I do feel like they could do a little bit better in some areas. Now that doll's price range is $7 to $10, so obviously there is going to be a difference in quality. I wanted to go in line with like what Rainbow High used to cost whenever it was really high quality. So I wanted to go like in that little grace period where I feel like Mattel, as a big company that it is, could actually do this project. So I'm very excited to see how it turns out. If you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment down below, share with your friends, and enjoy the process because it's time to get designing. You may be wondering to yourself, what makes Black Barbie so special? Especially since there were black dolls before her. But you see, we can add up all of Barbie's African American friends as well as Black Francie, and one thing remains: they are not Barbie. You see, Barbie is the star. She is clearly the main character, and all of her clothes, accessories, cars, houses, friends, and boyfriend are all accessories. And that's a really blunt way of putting it, but if you think of it from a sales perspective, Barbie is the razor and her friends and accessories are her blades. And as the company was entering their new era, the superstar era, they were trying to focus on being a little bit more inclusive than what they were before, especially thanks to the beautiful and talented Kitty Black Perkins, who herself is incredibly iconic and Mattel's first African American designer for Barbie. And 6 years after joining Mattel's designing team for Barbie, she gave a new pitch that would change the Barbie line forever. She introduced her design for the Black Barbie. This time, African American children could see themselves in an actual Barbie and not just one of her friends. This Barbie was the star of the show, not an accessory. This Barbie was just as glamorous and beautiful as her Caucasian counterpart, but just had a little bit more spice. From her afro hairstyle to her full lips and shapely figure, this Barbie remains to be an important part of Barbie history, and she has become one of Barbie's most sought after dolls. From Netflix documentaries to YouTube reviews, you can still find this Black Barbie out and about on all kinds of media, which goes to show she is truly just as special as any other Barbie doll. And she's also a Barbie doll I've wanted for years. I just simply can't afford her, so I'm gonna have to make her myself. And I just only hope that I can make Kitty Black Perkins proud, because for me, she truly is an inspiration. So the next time that you are admiring your 1980 Black Barbie or your Day to Night Barbie and many other iconic Barbie dolls, think of Kitty Black Perkins. Because of her, a lot of our collections only got more fabulous. And it's because of her that Barbie got just a little bit more inclusive so that everyone can have a chance to be that main character, to be that star, and to be that beautiful. So these are going to be the two dolls that I'll be using for this custom. We've got the Black Tribute Barbie over here on the left, and the future president Barbie over here on the right. Now, I love this doll's head. I love her hair, but I don't really like the awkward pose on the body. Like, I just think it just kind of looks blah to me. And I love the body on this doll. I just like the bent arms because to me it kind of more resembles the original doll right here. And that's something that I'd like to be incorporated into my design. So I'm going to use her head, but use her body. And I think it's going to look nice.
Are you sure?
I work faster than a gay with a new Lady Gaga song, let me tell you.
She's not a Christian!
I just decided at Walmart that I wanted to do a tribute doll because I missed out on the 45th anniversary doll. And I don't have an original Black Barbie. It just never happened. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make my own because I don't wanna pay secondhand prices because the original, the one I really want, is super expensive and the 45th anniversary is working its way up to being expensive. So I'm gonna make my own and I think it's gonna look pretty good. This is like what I'm gonna go for. Now, obviously, like I've skipped out on some details, but like this is pretty much like what I'm looking for. I would really like to make this doll line like playline, not necessarily a collector or a reproduction, but something that is actually just, you know, like a playline doll that you could buy in the store for like $25 to $30.
Really? That I'd like to see.
Because I truly do think that if you make a Barbie look interesting, they're going to be more willing to pay the price. And this doll is not bad, and neither is this doll, but they're not really my exact cup of tea. Like, I want her to be more fierce, but I'm not crazy about the pixelized face paint. And I would have liked it if there's like some more details and like actually like a play function in her outfit like the original dolls had. Like with that outfit, you could make it into like a disco suit, or you can make it into this evening gown that was really beautiful. It has the perfect inspiration, but like for me personally, it just kind of misses the mark. But I guess for the price range that it's supposed to be at, like it's fine.
Sure, Jan.
And same goes with this doll. Like she is not ugly by any means, but she's just not my cup of tea. I'm not crazy about this outfit, but I do like some pieces and aspects from the outfit. And I'm going to plan on using some of the pieces for this Barbie custom. I'm just not sure exactly how I'm going to incorporate it just yet. But again, this is the inspiration. This is what I'm going for. So I'm going to be looking at my sketches while I create this entire look, because I would like to make this playline doll have a change function. So that way her outfit can change into a different look, just like the OGs. But the first thing we gotta do is get them both out of their boxes. So the dolls are unboxed now. We've got the President Barbie out of her box, and she's incredibly light, but she's not loose like some of the other Barbies that I've opened recently. And she has a really sweet face. She's very nice. I love her hair. Her hair is actually saran. And she comes with this future leader sticker, which, okay, slay. And she comes with this nice brooch that I like that I'll be using in a different project. And of course she comes with these gold bracelets, which I think I might be using in this project. I don't know. And she has like that little A-line skirt and everything. It's not separate. I thought that they were separate pieces, but they're not. They're all one piece. She's okay. Like she's cute for what she is, but like not my absolute favorite, and I just really want to use her for the body. But one thing I will say is like her legs are really tiny, and I was wondering if maybe I could like switch those legs out for these legs because I like their dimensions better. And she has regular like Barbie feet, but like her legs are much thicker, like in the waist range. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to just swap legs because I think that would be a more appealing doll. Of course, this doll does pale in comparison, but again, we're dealing with a 45-year difference and a different designer. But one thing I will say about this doll is her hair is beautiful. It is so beautiful to see representation like this because she looks like everyone. Like we all know somebody who has this beautiful hair texture, and it is okay to know that this hair texture, just a straight hair texture, is perfect and it is cool. She's absolutely beautiful. So when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, that is the one that I want to work on the most. and I'm really excited to try my hand at doing a face up. Now, the doll herself is really light. She's way lighter than what you would think. I mean, she's even lighter than that doll, in my opinion. I'm not really happy with her stance. Like, it's just very, you know, blasé. But I think the dress is kind of cute. I would say this probably is the best tribute of the line, in my opinion, because I can clearly see who she is meant to represent, and that's really important in a tribute line. But again, I'm very curious to see exactly where this doll project takes me, because I was literally in Walmart and I was like, you know what, I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. So therefore I pushed back all of my other doll projects to do this. So enjoy this ADHD energy. Take them in for how they look right now, because at the end of the video, it's going to look an awful lot different. Here's their bodies, just in case you wanted to see what they looked like without all the clothes. This one, of course, is the tribute doll. This one is the President Barbie. And I'm quite surprised by their torsos. Like, just very taken aback. I think that I am going to be able to use these legs on this body, so I'm kind of excited for that. Another thing that's interesting is the plastic wrap that's on this doll's like hips and legs, as to not stain her probably from the dress itself, because like this is a pretty much like a diaper sort of thing. But one thing you could do is take this apart, because it's all sewn together, and this would be like a perfect pattern if you are looking to do like some sort of like pattern with your dolls and you get this. Like, you could totally take this and rip it apart for like Barbie bottoms if you want to, and I think that might be what we do. So I'm going to start modifying the body. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to take off the legs first. I'm going to take off the legs of both bodies, because I really like these thicker legs. I think that they're really nice, and I want to put them on this body. And what I'd also like to do is make the waist a little bit more pronounced, so that she doesn't have such a rectangular body. And not saying that's a bad thing.
Oh, that's marvelous.
So the more realistic tone shape of the body does not really make for flattering outfits, because it will make things look a lot bulkier than what it truly is. So we want to go with an illusion of a smaller waist as well. And I was kind of thinking about like messing around the arms a little bit to see like where I'd rather have them, but we'll see if that's actually going to happen. But what I'd like to do first is I would like to take the legs off. And when you are body modifying something, you need to be prepared for the worst. So the worst is that I break this and I have to go buy another one. It's $10, and there's plenty of these President Barbies at my Walmart. I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm going to try to get my vision as close as I possibly can. And to do that, that does mean that I'm going to have to modify this body.
Scandalous.
So I've got my electric kettle ready. I'm just going to pour the hot water over top of the legs. And I'm just going to sit there and let it soak. When I feel like it's sat long enough, I'm going to attempt to just pop them out. There we go. There's one, and then there's two. So now I'll try with the other body.
Eventually.
And when I feel like this one has sat long enough in the water, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm coming to the realization that I'm literally Sid from Toy Story. So here I am trying to do a waist training on this doll. I've got two different bits of elastic in there, and underneath the elastic I have a thick layer of cotton, and that's just to guard the elastic from the torso, so that way it doesn't like shape into the elastic, if that makes sense.
No.
Okay, so first time doing it, this is going to be our grand reveal. And all right, a little bit of distortion, but that's okay. It still gives a waistline. Yeah, I'm actually not mad at that. I think it looks kind of like a model muse.
Who cares?
We have the body now like all modified, and I really like these thicker legs on this torso. Like, I think it looks so cool. So now it is time to take off Barbie's face paint, and I'm already preparing myself for it not coming off. It's just like the mermaid, damn it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, after 5 years of scrubbing, it will eventually start to come off. And when it does, you will be one lucky heifer, let me tell you that. But I'm so excited to get this face off and get to painting, because that's probably one of the most exciting things about these makeovers, is that I get an opportunity to create a pretty brand new face. So after a good long while of scrubbing, I finally got her face to be a little bit more bare. And I went ahead and I did one thick layer of Mr. Super Clear Matte, and I will do that before I go in with any of my pencils. So before I start to paint the face, I always like to go in with a watercolored pencil, and that's just to map out everything before I use my acrylic paints. So the first thing I do whenever I start to create a face is I tend to start with the eyes, and I tend to try to start with an eye shape. Now in my design, I have her having a very sultry look. So luckily this Grace face mold has the eye indentation, so I can just follow that. But you also don't have to. They painted teeth on her and she has a closed mouth. I have her like as this very sultry type of figure, almost like a Diana Ross. When I was little, I was such a big fan of Diana Ross. I even still am today. But when I first saw this doll, that's who I thought this was supposed to be, and it made me want her even more. Now, the best part with watercolor pencil, if you mess up, it's easy to just wipe it away. And I do recommend that you have a sharpener handy with you at all times, because you will need to have the pencils at their very sharpest. The eyebrows and eyes are the hardest to paint, in my opinion. If you could get those down, you can do anything. And that is a really pretty brow. And again, this is just how I would design a playline doll. She's beautiful. So after 4 different coats of the watercolor pencil and Mr. Super Clear, this is the doll that we have. And I already see my vision in her, which is really good. I love seeing that. So the next thing I'm going to start to do is start to paint her with my acrylic paints. The first thing I'll do before I actually even put the paint on her is I will dilute the paint with water, and then because I've already got the colors right where I want them, I'm just going to go in right here, and you see when you add them, it intensifies the color, especially on her beautiful complexion. If you use the watercolor pencils first, like, you really don't need much. I've found that painting without the watercolored pencils as your base is almost like driving without a map. It's incredibly helpful to use, so if you've not tried it yet, I do recommend just giving it a go. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret that I've never told anyone.
You're filming, right?
Mm-hmm. No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Sorry! You were saying?
What's his name?
Oh yeah, so where was I? Oh right, dolls. I like dolls. Some might even say I love them. What are some of your favorite dolls and doll lines? Let me know down below, and they don't have to be just Barbie. Currently, I'm kind of in my American Girl mood. I get in those so frequently. Here we have her eyes done, and I'm actually really impressed with myself. I'm very happy with the way her eyes look, and I'm very excited to get started on the lips. With the lips, I'm going for more of a creamy buttery feel, but also with a little bit of shimmer on top. But I'll add the shimmer after I'm done with her final matte sealant. So I got a little bit of satin varnish here, and I'm just gonna dilute my paintbrush and dip it into the varnish itself. And I'm gonna put it over her lips because I want them to be a little bit glossy. I want them to be glossier than the rest of her paint. And if you want to get fancy, you could put some in her eyes. And once that dries, she'll be very beautiful, I think. So I'm just trucking along, trying to get everything done for this cute little project. She's all the way up there next to all my other projects. And I'm starting to make her costume. Now, I wanted to make it out of this beautiful lurex material. I of course want it red, but I don't have it in red, and Joann Fabrics is closed. Its last day was actually yesterday, which is very sad for me. I was not able to go. Last time I went, they didn't have an official closing date, but I guess their official closing date was yesterday, so that's pretty sad. It's sad for all the people who need to be creative at this time, like myself, because it's how we express ourselves, and there's not really another store in my area that sells specifically fabrics. You've got like your Hobby Lobby, and you've got like some in Michael's, but it's not really a wide selection. And I feel like Hobby Lobby materials are more for quilters or the church. You know, like it doesn't really have like any what I would call like fancy, or like this, for instance, like lurex. Like it doesn't really have that. It has like more like prints of like Jesus or a cross or a bunny, or like, you know, something, a dove, or something that looks antique. Like their audience is totally different from what a Joann Fabrics audience would have been. I think what I'm trying to say is they're not as flamboyant as Joann Fabrics. We're just gonna have to get even more creative than before. So I have this red all-purpose dye. It's for synthetic fabrics, which this is going to be, and I would like to dye this red. Now, I could go online and buy the exact red that I need, but I'm not going to. Boo, you whore. I kind of want to get this done, and I think it would be really nice anyway. I am hopeful that this is going to turn the entire garment red, even the tinsel, and make it look all pretty. However, I'm a little bit skeptical that this will work, but I'm hopeful it will work, if that makes any sense.
No.
So if it doesn't work, oh well, we'll try something different. If it does work, I guess you'll see me sewing in a bit. Wow, it worked. And now it's time for me to sew this like I work in a sweatshop, which I basically do because I live in Florida. And Florida thought it would be cute to be in 105-degree weather all week long. And just think, I get the privilege to pay to be here. And I know what you're thinking, poor me. And I would have to agree with you. But don't worry, things will be back to normal by December. Till then, I'm just gonna pass out from the heat. Just kidding, I'm okay. I have air conditioning.
Foul, foul, send a judge over here. This woman is trying to put us to sleep.
If you all would like a whole sewing series, let me know down below and I'll try to do one, because I have so many vintage Barbie patterns and vintage like doll patterns that I could make like a whole series on that. So if you would find that interesting, just let me know down below, and maybe we could create something for some of our vintage dolls as well. So the outfit is definitely sewn, but what needs to happen now is I need to go ahead and paint these like a metallic gold instead of just this matte gold that they like to give like their jewelry. And I'm gonna do it with her necklace and her earrings and her bracelet. So wish me luck. The paint that I'm using is actually from Ace Hardware, and it's a metallic, and it said for all purposes, but it didn't say anything about plastic. So hopefully the plastic comes out looking nice and it doesn't get like all nasty and gnarly, and you can still see a little bit of details whenever you're done, but we'll see. Again, whenever you're like doing something that you're not really familiar with, like as much as like using spray paint, because I don't really use spray paint, it's always going to be a question. I'm like so excited, and she's just almost done. So I painted her jewelry. I used a spray paint, and I'm not very good at spray paint. Obviously, it doesn't really look that great. However, I do think that it looks a lot better than just the plain matte gold, which you can probably still see on the end of the earrings. And ideally, I wanted it to be like these bracelets over here, but there's no way that these would be like those bracelets over there. I don't know what kind of paint they use to get this metallic finish. If you do, let me know down below, because I'm kind of at a blank for it. But yeah, I'm super excited to see how she looks all together. She's literally almost done. The paint says to let it wait an hour before touching it. Obviously, as you could tell, like at the end of this necklace, I touched it. Look at my finger. So I'm gonna go get busy, do something else, and then I'll be back, and then we can see her grand reveal.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
So here is our Barbie tribute doll before, and as I said, she's not the worst tribute doll I've ever seen, but now I think she looks even better, and I hope you all enjoy her as much as I do, because she was a really fun doll to make, and I bet she would be a really fun doll to play with. But you all have to let me know what you think of her as well. Now, there was a lot that I wanted to add to this doll that I just simply couldn't. One being articulated bend and snap knees, an extra set of jewelry, and as well as hair play items such as barrettes and hair picks. I just miss the days of quality and getting great items where you could see the quality behind them and the artistry as well. But this truly is what I would expect a playline doll to be, a doll that could have a lot of quality and a lot of play value, which I hope I succeeded at. Something that was very important for me to add was a play feature. This doll, just as the original doll, has a play suit underneath her skirt. So now she's ready for her glamorous date, or maybe ready to go to the nearest discotheque. And I know the point of the tribute dolls was to bring them into a new era, but there is still something so classic and beautiful about Kitty Black Perkins' original design. A design that has transcended age and has become a classic.
A big curly fro, bold gold jewelry, and a bright red dress looks dynamite on this brown skin Barbie.
Everything that Barbie was, I wanted Black Barbie to be the opposite.
Kitty Black Perkins, now 76, designed Mattel's first Black Barbie, which debuted in 1980 after calls from doll collectors.
They were asking for more black dolls.
In the 60s and 70s, the only diverse dolls in Barbie's world were sidekicks.
She's a little bit shapelier.
But this doll, made more in the image of black women, would bear the marquee name.
I wanted her also to be able to do the same things that the white doll did.
Yeah. People don't understand that being able to see yourself in a doll, it's everything.
Perkins retired from Mattel as chief Barbie designer. Today, Barbie is more inclusive than ever and taking over Hollywood. But for Perkins, Black Barbie was the mold to break the mold.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the Barbie and the video. If you did, let me know down below by leaving a comment, leaving a like, and sharing with all of your friends. I really appreciate you all so much for watching my little humble videos, and I appreciate all the love, and I send it right back to you, so thank you. This was not supposed to be the planned video for this week. There was supposed to be another video, but to be honest with you, I kind of had an ADHD moment, and I saw an opportunity to make a new design, and I said, oh, let's do that. But I still will be making a different topic and a different video, hopefully for next week, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye-bye.